What if you could take a journey that wasn't just measured in miles, but in centuries? A walk along a path that connects not just two cities, but the past right to the present. Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're stepping on to Japan's incredible Nakasendo Trail.
All right, so let's just dive right in. Take a look at this. What you're seeing, that's the Nakasendo. Now, it's an ancient highway, but forget everything you know about highways. No concrete, no steel. This path was literally carved from the landscape of Japan itself, from its mountains, its forests, and, yeah, from time.
So you gotta ask yourself, how does a 500-kilometer trail through some pretty rugged mountains even happen? Well, its origins, they lie in a classic story of power, a tale of two rival capitals. The name itself pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Nakasendo. It literally means the road through the mountains. And trust me, that is no exaggeration. This ancient footpath, it stretches for over 500 kilometers. It was an absolutely vital artery during Japan's long feudal period. So what was its grand purpose? It was all about connecting two competing centers of power. On one end, you had Kyoto, the imperial capital, home of the emperor. And on the other, you had Edo, what we now call Tokyo, the shogun's military base. Just try to imagine the kind of traffic on this path. You're talking samurai warriors, powerful feudal lords, busy merchants, even pilgrims, all of them sharing this one road. Okay, so a 500-kilometer journey on foot, that's a huge undertaking, right? How did anyone possibly survive that back in the day? Well, they relied on this incredible support network. And the magic number for that whole network is this one.
69. That's right, that's how many juku, or post towns, were officially set up along the route. You can kind of think of them as service stations, but for the feudal era. I mean, they were the absolute lifeblood of the trail, offering food, supplies, and a warm place to stay for all those weary travelers.
And here's where the story gets really, really remarkable for us today. A lot of these post towns, they weren't just lost to time. Nope. They've been preserved. And what they've created is basically a living, breathing museum. So how in the world did these towns survive the rush to modernize? I mean, think about it. It all started with a simple but really powerful promise. The residents of one particular town, Sumigo, they made it pact, and the core rule was this: do not sell, lend, or demolish houses. This was a groundbreaking grassroots effort to save their own history. And you can see the results of that promise right here. It's just incredible. On one side, you've got this wide, sweeping view of the street, looking completely untouched by the 21st century. And then look at the close-up on the other side, that dark, weathered wood, the detailed latticework. It honestly feels less like a tourist spot and more like you've stepped into a time machine. And that immersive feeling, it's 100% intentional. In towns like Tsumago, Magome, and Narai, the commitment to authenticity is just off the charts. Get this, power lines are hidden. You won't see any modern advertising signs. Every single building keeps its traditional wooden look, and sometimes the only sounds you hear are the same ones a traveler would have centuries ago, like the gentle rhythm of a watermill. Okay, so the towns themselves are absolutely incredible, but the Nakasendo is more than that. It's about the journey between them. So let's talk about what it's like to actually hike through history on the trail itself. This is a beautiful Edo period style map, and it really captures the whole spirit of the journey. You can see right away, this is not a straight line from point A to point B. Just notice how the path meanders, how it weaves its way through the landscape, following the natural curves of the Kiso Valley. So what's it actually like to walk it? Well, the terrain is super diverse. I mean, one minute you're stepping on these ancient, moss-covered stone paths, and yeah, those are the very same stones a samurai walked on. The next minute you're on a soft, unpaved forest trail. You'll pass through these quiet little villages and even tackle some challenging mountain climbs, like the famous Toritoge Pass. And the whole time, the natural beauty it's your constant companion. The scenery just keeps changing. One moment, you're deep in a forest of towering Japanese cedar trees, and the next, the path just opens up to this incredible view of a waterfall tumbling down the mountainside. Your soundtrack for the day? Often it's just the sound of rushing water and birds. And as you walk, you're going to meet these silent guardians. They're stone statues of Jizo, a really beloved figure in Japanese Buddhism. He's known as the protector of travelers and children, and these little statues, they've been watching over people on this very path for centuries. It's pretty amazing to think about.
So, after a long day of walking, of literally following in the footsteps of history, the whole experience comes to a peak. It's time for the traveler's welcome, an evening at a traditional inn.
All right, let me walk you through this incredible cultural experience because it's really something special. First, you arrive at your family-run inn. It's called a minshuku or a ryokan. Then you get to change into this really comfortable cotton gown, a yukata. Next up is pure bliss. You get to soak in a restorative onsen, which is a natural hot spring. And to top it all off, you're treated to this elaborate multi-course dinner that's all about local seasonal food. But honestly, the real magic, it begins after dinner. The towns just fall silent. You'll see other travelers out walking the lantern-lit streets, wearing their yukatas, just soaking in the quiet. It's this deep connection to the past, a feeling you just can't find in a noisy modern city.
So, what does this all add up to? What does an ancient road like this mean for us today? Let's talk about its enduring legacy. Because when you really put it all together, you realize the Nakasendo is so much more than just a hike. It's a tangible, living connection to Japan's history, its culture, and its incredible natural beauty. And it's all woven together into one single experience. Ultimately, it's a journey that really teaches you something. It reminds all of us about the value of just slowing down, of disconnecting from our crazy, hyper-connected lives. It all comes down to the simple, powerful act of just walking in the footsteps of those who came before. And all of this leaves us with a final question to think about. In a world that's always speeding up, always demanding that we move faster, what can an ancient path like this one really teach our modern